Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode in my Unreal Engine 4 tutorials. In this episode we're going to carry on from our door tutorials that we have done in the past. So we first of all done the proximity door, then we've done an interactive door, then a keycard door, and this time we're going to go and do a fourth one, which is a switch door, a door that is opened by a switch somewhere in the level. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So to get this started, I have pre-made the switch, which is here. And as you can see, all I've done is I've put a cylinder on top of a flattened cube and put a sphere collision on top of the button. Okay, and the door switch itself is a copy of my interactive door. So the door that is the one we have to push the E key to open up. If you haven't watched that episode, go back and watch it and complete the episode first, as we're just copy and pasting a lot of that code. So I duplicated that door and I added a couple of things to it. So in my door switch here I added a single light to indicate whether it's locked or unlocked. So simply just red or green. In this case I made it red. And that's all we need to get started in our episode today. So to begin with, we're going to start off with the door. Now the door will have two variables. So the variable it'll first have is one determine whether it is locked or unlocked. So we're going to go is unlocked. Well, no, let's do locked. Is locked, because that'd be a more default state. So if it's locked, we're going to click compile, and my default value I'm going to make is true, and that is going to be determining whether or not the door can be opened or not. Quite simply, nothing too strenuous there. It is a boolean, so it can either be true or false. The other variable we're going to need is a switch variable. So type in switch, and the type of this is a switch object. Now the switch object is the name of the object that is our switch button here. So this can be a reference to whichever button that opens this particular door. So you can determine which one opens it. Okay, so it's a switch object and it comes up with a little blue ball here. And for both of these you want to make them editable and exposed on spawn. Editable and exposed on spawn. Don't need really exposed on spawn, but it's good for future proofing if you want to make sort of procedural levels. So with those exposed, that means we can now access them in our details panel in our engine. So you see it's locked and the switch here. Okay, so the switch you can see here says none, and we want it to associate this switch to this door. So click on the door, and on the switch you'll see a little eyedropper tool, and it says pick actor from scene. If you click on that, you are then able to click on a particular actor in the scene that will fill in that blank. So now this switch is linked to this door. Okay, and we've got is locked, true or false. And what we can do is we can do some construction script here to change the light in our editor to make it nice and clear to us as game designers. So let's do that. So in your door switch, in the door object, go into your construction script, and in there we're going to drag the is locked variable out and choose get, and then branch that off either into true or false. And if it's true, we're going to change the light to red. If it's false, we're going to change it to green to signify that it's unlocked. So to change the light, you drag the light out. So the component for the light here we drag out, and then from there we can change the color. So type in color, and it should change the color. Set color. There you go. Oh, context sensitive on. Set light color. And hit that to true. New light color will be red. And I'm going to copy that and put it down here for false and change it to green. Now a construction script basically means it's going to update the object. Oh, I forgot to hit the target. To make sure you connect the target back up to the lock light. So as I was saying, the construction script basically runs all the time inside the editor and changes this runs as soon as it's built. Okay, or changed in the editor. So if I were to change this to unlocked, you can see the light switch between the two. Okay, that's a nice way to see what's going on. Okay, dokie, so moving on. So how do we get the switch to actually open the door? If I play it now, I can open the door no matter what, okay, because it's still a copy of our previous door. So let's make it so we can't open the door if it's locked. So on your event graph for your door, you'll see where we've done the E key, and we want to put something in between the E key and the door animation, because this is the event and we want to stop the event triggering on a particular condition, and that condition whether or not is the locked variable. So drag that out and choose get, branch that off and connect that up to there, and we want it to only open when it's false, so drag false onto there. And if you wanted to, you could drag the true up to a play sound effect, make it go or whatever you want, to show that it's locked. Okay, but I'll leave that up to you. So how are we going to do this? So what we're going to do is we're going to use something new called an event dispatcher. You may have seen them down here in the bottom left. And event dispatchers are ways for different actors to communicate basically between each other. It's almost like a broadcast system, so it allows you to broadcast and listen to other actors doing things. That's the easiest way I can explain it. So on the switch object, what we're going to do is we're going to make a event dispatcher. So when we click on the plus event dispatcher, I'm going to call it switch pressed. And basically what it means is that we're going to trigger and call out and broadcast this switch pressed event. And we're going to tell the door switch to listen out for that event. And when it does happen, we're going to make it do stuff. So on the switch pressed event dispatcher, just change it. We need one input, so click on here and add one input by clicking on the new button on the right hand side. And I'm going to call it the switch. And click compile. And go to its event graph. So the event that we want is when the player overlaps this sphere collision. So click on the sphere collision in your component list, right click and go begin overlap. Tick context sensitive, make sure that's ticked on, and you'll see add on component begin overlap, and you'll see in brackets sphere, and that refers to this sphere collision here, or whatever you named it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check whether or not the other actor that's collided with this sphere, which should be the player, is actually the player. Because you don't want enemies running over the switch and triggering it, or anything else hitting it and triggering it. So other actor, we're going to do cast to first person character, and basically it means it checks whether or not we actually are the first person character. And if we are, we're going to call out this switched pressed event dispatcher. So drag that out and choose call and connect that up to the cast. Here we have that switch parameter that we added by clicking the new button, and with the switch parameter we're going to drag that out and type in self and get a reference to self. Okay, so this actor is now going to call out this switch pressed event. It's like basically screaming out this event, and on our door we're going to make it listen out for it. So if you right click and do begin play, we need to first tell it that we want to actually listen out for stuff. And the way you do that is you just drag out the switch component, variable, and choose get, and then from there we should be able to call the event. So bind event to switch pressed, and there you go. So bind event to switch pressed basically means when we're telling an event to be bound to this call out, and the event we want to bind to it would be a custom event. So type in custom event, and name it unlock door, and you can see the little red squares you can connect up. Why is that not working? Oh yeah, so the unlock door needs an input. to match this switch pressed, because remember switch pressed has this parameter, so this one must also match that. So here I'm just going to call it switch, and now you should be able to compile and hook that up to that event. There you go. So that switch pressed event is bound to this event, so when on the switch, when that triggers, this will trigger. Hopefully that makes sense on how event dispatchers work. There's loads of other things you can do with them, but that is one of the easiest, most simple ones to do. So this switch is calling out, the door's beginning to listen, so on begin play, this is telling it to listen out for it and assign this event to it. So when that's called, this will happen. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check whether or not that switch that is actually pushed matches the switch we've assigned to the door. So drag out a switch variable and make them equal to, compare them, so equal, and you get our boolean out, which goes into a branch, and if it's true, we're going to unlock the door. So choose is locked, set, and hook up to true, and we're going to leave it blank, so it's false. Okay, that means it's now unlocked. Now for it to change the colour of the light, we can just copy and paste this code here from our construction script, paste it back into our event graph, and hook up the is locked to condition of that branch. Hit compile, an error should go away, and that should do it. So let's test that out. Click play. So if I go up to the door and push E, it shouldn't open, correct? But if I stand on this switch, the light changes, and I can now open the door. Whee! And that is it. If you want the switch to toggle the light on the switch, then simply all you do is you just change this bit here. Rather than setting it, you can toggle it using appropriate nodes and things like that. I'm sure you can figure it out. It's literally just change this bit here. But that's it. If you do have any questions about event dispatchers, or you want to see solutions to more types of doors, please let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel for more like it. And if you want to support me and my future videos, please join us on Patreon, where you can join our Discord, see videos 2 weeks early, and loads of other benefits too. So please check that out and support me. Thank you for all those who have supported me thus far. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.